And we'll go ahead and begin recording here. You guys will have a chance to have the recording or the slides after if you'd like. So we're with a company called EXP Realty. We are in 42 states now, just under 1,800 agents and growing fast. When I joined the company in January, we were 700. We've more than doubled in size in the last 6 months. Super excited, and I think you'll see why here. Real quick, I'll give you my personal story, and then we'll give you the company story, and then we'll move right into it. So, I'm a divorced single father of 5 girls. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. My name is Ryan Hightower. This is me and my girls here on Facebook. If you want to friend request or follow me, I'd be happy to connect with you and get to know you a little bit better. That's me on the left. Summer, my 10-year-old, Abby, 16, holding my youngest, Cameron, who's 6. Next over, the little blonde with the missing teeth is Kaylin, she's 7, and that's my oldest daughter, Hannah, 17 years old, getting ready to go off to college. So yeah, I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona. Been licensed realtor for about the last 15 or 16 years. Go ahead, guys, we're going to go ahead and hold all the questions to the end, if that's cool. Let me just make sure we don't have any sound questions. All right, good. Everybody's good. We're going to hold all questions to the end, please. So we're in Phoenix, Arizona, licensed realtor about the last 15 years. Jumped into it in a relatively flat market. Wasn't particularly a buyer's market or a seller's market. Had some great first couple of years in the business, 6-figure years. Started following my investor clients who were Remax agents at the time, and got following their moves. I got to buying properties when they would and tying up new construction when they would, and didn't really know what I was doing at the time, but just was following their moves. And ended up, long story short, about a year and a half of doing that, made and lost about $3 or $4 million, about 70 houses all at one time. Lost 70 houses all at one time. 2005, 2006. Stepped away from the business completely for about 7 or 8 years after that. I held on to my license, but just the loss was huge. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And so just in the last 2 years or so have I jumped back into real estate, committed to it. I got on a big real estate team here in town, Joshua Smith. He's with another company. Some of you guys probably follow his podcast or some of his public speaking across the country. Good friend of mine. And so I was on Josh's team for a year. I launched my own team about a year ago. We launched my team at a small independent brokerage, and we've built it up to about 25 agents in less than a year. And so we're here in Phoenix, but I run the team here in Phoenix, and then we also I recruit full-time for EXP to 42 states. So we're always looking for agents in almost every state, and amazing opportunity here with you guys this morning. So that's kind of my personal story. We'll talk real quickly about EXP is a agent-owned cloud brokerage. So let me just get the screen bigger here for you guys so you can see it easier. At EXP Realty, our family of agents and brokers build their own businesses while establishing a direct ownership interest in EXP World Holdings, Inc. as a shareholder and partner. So that's one of the things that really appealed to me. I knew when I joined Josh's team that I wanted to start a team. I told him that when I came through the door. But where do you go from there? Do you start a brokerage or build a brokerage or buy an existing company or buy properties? And I'll show you how this meets all of those needs. This is better than starting or buying a brokerage. It's better than starting a team. It's better than even buying rental properties, which you can do also along the way. I'll show you how to do that too. So we're a cloud brokerage, started in 2002 by Glenn Sanford. He was a big Keller Williams guy, top 50 Keller Williams guy, rookie of the year, member of Agent Technology Council, top 50 at Keller Williams. 2009, EXP Realty launched as a cloud-based real estate brokerage. Um, you can kind of see the history here up to present. And we're known as being like the Amazon of real estate. Um, 2013 Swanepoel Trends Report identifies the cloud-based model as a powerful new innovation whose time has come. So really, if you think about how Amazon has taken out, Borders bookstore, or Amazon is even knocking at the door of Walmart, it's kind of taken over the online cloud e-commerce type stuff has taken over the big box bricks and mortar stuff. Plenty of other examples of that too with Netflix, Uber. I mean, look at how Uber, an app, has single-handedly leveled um, the taxi industry in just a couple of years. And so EXP is kind of the equivalent. No bricks and mortar locations. Um, Most of the revenue generated by the company is returned back to the agents across multiple tiers. We'll show you that in a bit. We'll show you how the rev share in the stock can potentially equal way more money back to you than broker fees charged, which is pretty cool. Systems. What is Cloud Broker? GXP Realty is changing the way that agents, brokers, and consumers work together. Cloud brokerage creates a collaborative community. It allows for interaction with other top professionals around the world. It cuts our expenses, enabling the brokerage to share the additional funds with our agents. Here's a screenshot. We use an online virtual campus called New World Verbella. This room here is like a general session room, like an auditorium. We do, I think it's the next slide, do about 30 or 35 hours a week of training available. You don't have to go to all of it, but it's some really, really good, really high level content. Support at every level: new agent services, transaction and admin, marketing and technology, business development, peer-to-peer, etc. Transactions anytime, anywhere. Everything's paperless. The rev share, transactional support, agent onboarding, everything is done out of that virtual cloud office, which is really cool. Literally, so there's like different desks and different departments in there. Like if you have a trouble, you have a closing yesterday and it should have deposited last night into your account, you literally can go on your computer and walk your avatar over to the accounting desk and see what's up with your check, and okay, they're going to straighten it out, they're going to deposit it in the next couple hours or whatever. Pretty cool. We talked about included education and sales training, over 25 hours a week of live training, and a growing archive of recorded sessions. Everything's recorded. There's just tons of content in there. I find myself going in there all the time, and new stuff every week too. New information being delivered to us every week. A lot of lead gen type stuff, a lot of marketing type stuff, and how to make the most of your rev share and stock ownership in the company. Profitability. So you guys have maybe seen the cash flow quadrants, the Robert Kiyosaki model. 80% of people are stuck on this left side of employee or self-employed. So employee when you have a job, and self-employed when you own a job or you are the job. And 80% of the money is on the right side of the business owner, where you own a system that works for you, or an investor where just your money's working for you. And so kind of what's cool with the EXP model is to move over to that right side, to where you own the business and where you have the investment and the money and the other agents working for you within the model. This is kind of the hierarchy here, from an individual producing agent to building a team. I'm kind of between these middle pieces here, between team building and building a brokerage inside of EXP Realty, essentially. Scalability and expansion, and then exponential earner. Like it is entirely possible with this model, and I'll show you how. It is entirely possible with this model to be done selling houses in 5 to 10 years and have a passive residual income for the rest of your life. There's really nothing like it, as well as a separate thing of having stock ownership in this company, owning a piece of what you're helping build. You just don't see that anywhere else out there. Phase one, individual productivity is limited by the amount of work you can do in a day. It's limited by your strengths, limited by your weaknesses. When you're on vacation, you're out of business. Your business is the next transaction. So they say, you're as good as your last check or your last deal. When you retire, your business stops. Phase two is team building. You can grow your income by leveraging other agents, and you certainly can do that inside of the EXP model. I'm proof of that. We have a strong team here in Phoenix, a couple of team members out of state as well. Provide a diverse talent pool, multiple opportunities to cover schedules, etc., etc. Phase three, brokerage building. So this ensures that you keep your team members on board due to the opportunity to build the brokerage. Other agents build their business within your business, usually limited to a broker owner, not an agent opportunity. Purchase a franchise system, bricks and mortar, expenses, overhead, typically making less than a 4% profit. So it's certainly a different model. I'm of the opinion, I thought 6 months ago, a year ago, that that's where I was headed, that I was going to build a team of 50 or 100 agents and then go get a broker's license or hire a designated broker and open up doors. And I'm now currently of the opinion that this is a much better way to do it. No overhead, no liability. Each state has, we have a broker here in Arizona. Each state has their own compliance broker. It's just a much better model. Phase four, scalability and expansion. Most brokerages are running below 4% profitability. We talked about that. The impact of the business is limited by a small geographic area. You can grow your business nationally and around the world. So expansion, right now we're in 42 states right now. The states in orange are the states that we're in. Should be in all 50 before too long at all. You can kind of see our growth chart here. We are at, I don't have the exact count in front of me, 17 something as of today. We're closing in on 1,800. Again, when I joined in January with my team, it was 700. The stock, when I joined, the stock was at 75 cents a share. It's at almost $6 a share today. The stock is just going through the roof. The company is growing like crazy, and there's a good reason why. Phase five, exponential earner. So this is the real opportunity here. Receiving income without being in the business. Exit strategy with life income stream. Vesting after 3 years. Everyone working toward a common goal, and vacation with an income. So just to clarify, when we get into talking about rev share and stock ownership here, those are two different things. The stock ownership is vested and the rev share is not. The rev share, if you attract agents to the company or meet some of the other criteria for rev share, that's money that you receive the following month right away. So agent-centric philosophy, EXP is huge on, you can see some of the examples here. They're huge on individual branding or team branding, or if you already have your own company branding and you want to, you want to kind of blend the two. As long as it's compliant, as long as it complies with the Department of Real Estate in your state, they're totally cool with it. They embrace it. They support it. Keep your logos, keep your personal branding. They totally support it. So also as far as residential, luxury, REO, commercial branding, they've got the different segments here. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. UPS at the door. Not the best timing. All right, so residential, luxury, REO, and commercial branding divisions. We've got them all. Let's see, we've got our own, you get a WordPress, basic WordPress searchable site. Everybody in the company gets that. A couple examples of it there. Conversion. I don't know if you have not had a chance to look at Conversion, go ahead and take a look at their site, KUNV, Conversion. I'm actually the guy in the Conversion commercial. I have no affiliation with them. That's a coincidence. But it's one of the reasons we're at Conversion. Conversion is a super powerful CRM database. You get your own agent searchable website. You can find out how much your house is worth. You can search any property for sale. And it's really powerful. I mean, you could do mass texting out of it. I'll show you real quickly. Conversion on its own costs $1,000 to set up and $500 a month. EXP, you get it for free. Everybody gets a seat on Conversion. I'll show you real quick. It is designed not to get too into this, that's for another day and another time, but it is absolutely designed with lead generation and lead capture in mind. And let's see if this is going to load. It gets GoToWebinar seems to really slow things down when you start opening up some windows here, but I'll show you an example of some free groups posting that I did yesterday, community type groups. Let's see. So I literally just go to my website and I find a property. This is how you would be generating leads too. You can easily generate another 10 leads a day or more. Finding a property or a specific search on your own agent site, which we give you, and then you're just posting them to Facebook like community type groups. And that's for the leasing agents, that's for the regular agents. So you can see, I'll show you what I posted to our team page, but where it generated the leads was in the Facebook groups. So this was a rental one from yesterday. I grabbed the link from the site. It's still loading, but it'll auto-populate a picture of the property. There it is. Okay, so this was a rental one, Surprise, Arizona. The link for rent, Surprise, $1,025 a month, easy qualify. When you click on it, it opens up the property. This computer may already know that I've viewed properties on this site before, so it may not ask, but normally what it'll do is you get 1 or 2 clicks into it. There it is. Boom. It's going to ask you for your information. It's a little slow on the speed, but so it's going to ask you for your information, you enter an email, you enter a cell phone number, and that's how a lead is captured. So you get that. You get the conversion, your own agent site. There's a whole agent back end of it. That post, I posted to about 15 or 20 groups one time yesterday. It generated on average about one, I don't want to get too far off the beaten path here, but on average about 1 lead per post. So it generated about 20 or 25 leads yesterday. You can see it'll text message you, it'll dial the number, and it'll auto connect you. Here's one that just came in a little while ago from that post. New lead notification, phone number, email. It links to all their stuff. It links to their Facebook. It tells you all the information it knows about this person. All right, so this is a female, 37 years old, Arizona. Sometimes it'll pull everything. It'll pull all their LinkedIn profile and Facebook and everything. Any additional information it can find on this phone number or this email address. So that's what a new lead looks like. It'll continue, the system will continue drip emailing her. It'll continue text messaging her. It'll send her similar properties. And as she clicks one of those emails or responds to them, you get the engagement, you get notification of it, you can see what she's looking at. It's just a super powerful tool. The main point I want to make here is that you get conversion, which is very expensive on its own. You get that for free, and it absolutely gives you the ability to go generate another, whatever, 10 or 20 leads a day on your own. So let me close out a few of these windows here, and it should load some of the other stuff quicker. This is real quick shot, same lead. This is the agent back end of that lead. You can look at any of your leads. You can see what her history is, what she's looking at. You can type notes on it. It all syncs to your Google Calendar. You can task yourself to do things, to follow up. You can set up a call plan, call her once a week for 6 months or whatever you want to do. It's all kinds of capabilities there. All right. So conversion, that's conversion. You get that for free. Let me jump back to full screen here. your brand, your listings, your leads. So you decide what to do with them. EXPLS is your listing service with hundreds of outlets. Your listings will generate greater exposure and generate more buyers to your leads. So this is just one more thing. Every time you take on a listing, it syndicates to all of these places automatically and funnels more leads directly to you. As far as fees, EXP charges a $49 startup fee that includes your first 1,000 business cards. Um, we all have a $50 a month tech fee, they call it, that includes your websites and your conversion and all of that stuff, all of the e-sign, all of the tech stuff. $50 a month is what everybody pays. $420 a year university tuition taken out of your first closing of the year. That's your first house sale. So leasing agents, this generally doesn't even apply to, but that's out of your first closing of every year, and that's to cover that cloud campus. Commission splits, everybody in the company is on an 80-20 split with a 16K cap. So at $80,000 gross commission, you're done paying the split, and then it's 100% for the remainder of the year. There's a $25 broker review fee per file. That's on a closing. That's not on a rental. Rentals are just straight 80-20. And there's a $30 E&O insurance, which is $40 in California. No E&O on rentals also. For capped agents, once that cap is met, it's 100% to the agent. It's just a $250 flat transaction fee, $25 broker fee, $30 E&O. We do have, you see this lower right hand corner of 100% plus. We do have a program called Icon Agent, and I think we've got a slide for it. We'll get to it in a second, but it basically is zero broker fees. The rev share model, so this is different than, let's jump straight to this slide, makes more sense. So this is different than, what we just talked about is when you sell a house or rent a house, but so you folks on the line that are interested in the recruiting opportunity and not necessarily even selling or leasing any houses, this is what will speak to you. It is structured. They're pretty strict to tell us we're not a network marketing company or we're not a multi-level company, but it is structured very similar to one. We have tiers. We have 7 tiers, and so how you read this is this first level, tier 1, for every agent that you attract to the company, you can potentially earn up to $2,800 per year on that agent. So let's say you bring on 10 agents and they're all doing pretty good. I mean, you could have 28 grand a year just on that first level coming in, and on it goes. First level recruits the second level, recruits the third level. 8-9 months in, I have agents already on level 3. I don't have anybody on 4 yet. And it's cool. I mean, I don't even know who these people are, and we're making, we're getting checks on the 22nd of every month on their production from the month before. This tops out at tier 7 at $4,000 per year, which is cool. I mean, you could see, I think we have a few example slides here. Okay, so here's an example. So again, this is aside from any houses that you sell or lease. This is just rev share. And this is aside from stock ownership in the company and whatever the stock does. This is just rev share on agents that you attract to the company. Let's say everybody in this scenario sells a property a month, 12 a year. Average sales price, $250,000. Average commission, 3%. How many will you personally introduce? 5. How many will those 5 introduce? Let's say they introduce 5. That's worth $94,000 a year in passive residual income forever to you. And keep in mind, this model, there's nothing else like it. I mean, this is cutting edge. This company is fundamentally amazing. We see in an industry that has 80% turnover every 2 years, in an industry that has 40% a year turnover, we're only seeing about 10 to 15% turnover. We're seeing stuff grow organically. We're seeing our rev share and our agent count grow at a much faster pace than the few agents that leave the company or leave the business for whatever reason, which is cool. I mean, that means, if you can be like my personal plan, we have a team manager and a few agents on the team that are really interested in the agent attraction side here. And if we put our head down and focus on building this over the next year or two, we can easily have, say, a six-figure income for the rest of our life just for 2 or 3 years of building this out. That's what I'm excited about. This rev share calculator, I'll give you a website at the end that you can click to, you can go to and kind of play around with numbers. And the numbers get big quick when you go down more levels. Here's rev share scenario number 2. Same, let's say everybody in the equation sells an average of 12 houses a year, 1 house a month. So it could be more, could be less. We're just using averages here. At an average sales price of $250, at an average commission of 2.5%. Let's say that you introduce 10 agents, you bring 10, who bring 10, who bring 10. That's worth $2.2 million a year. You can see how quickly this gets very large. Live rev share calculator examples. We won't do some more live ones, but again, I'll give you the website. You can go play with that. Kind of plug in numbers and see where it goes on your own, what you think. We try personally. I've become a student of network marketing, and there's common denominators of all these guys that make $1 million and $2 million a year passive residual income doing that. And one of the big common patterns I see is just simplicity and duplication. What are the tools that I can give you? Like, you might have it made up in your mind that, oh, well, I got to cold call a bunch of agents and I don't want to do that. But it's not like that at all. Our simple, for my downline, for my for agents that we've attracted to the organization just in the short time we've been here, our simple play is to do a webinar presentation like this every morning at 10 o'clock and just expose the opportunity to as many people as possible. So my agents can get people on this webinar. We have people on here this morning from our team that have brought people with them. Or if they're in the area, if they're here in Arizona, get them to the live presentation of this where we can meet them and get to know them a little bit better and do a live presentation of the same thing. And that's it. I mean, that's just, showing people that are asking questions about EXP. We do a lot of social media stuff on it, but it's not aggressive, tackling other agents. Oh, you've got to see the greatest thing that's ever been. So stock ownership in the company, we're all agent owners of the company. You can look up, it's publicly traded. One of the things I really dig about this is it's very transparent. I mean, you can literally Google EXP Realty and look at all of the quarterly reports and annual reports that are filed. You can see what the revenue is. You can see what all the top execs in the company are making for salary and where the money is being spent. It's very transparent, and that's something that you don't see in in small mom and pop type brokerages, or not necessarily even in big brand brokerages. One thing to keep in mind too that I failed to mention is our rev share is off of a percentage of gross commission income. It's off of GCI. It's off of the top. Your rev share is off of whatever a percentage of, according to the chart, a percentage of the gross commission. Whereas there's, say, a competing company that has profit share in our industry, where you literally can have agents that have attracted 50 people to the company, and if that market center doesn't turn a profit, there is no profit. There's no profit to share. There's no profit to disperse, and that will never happen with this model because it's off of the top. It's off of the gross. So that's kind of cool. All right, so we're talking about stock ownership in the company here now. You get 100 shares your first closing. You get 500 shares every time you cap for the year, and you get 500 shares for every agent that you recruit. So where we are today, I believe Larry put the slide together for me yesterday. Let's see, September 23rd, it was at $5.10 a share. I think it went higher than that. I think it went 570 or something in the last couple of days. Again, when I joined in January, it was 75 cents a share. It's just been growing like crazy. The growth is pushing the stock price, I'm sure. Um, so this is where we are today. We're at like almost 1,800 agents. Every time you cap, you get 500, so that's like another 2,500 bucks in today's dollars. Who knows what the stock will go to? Um, and then every time you attract an agent, you get 500 shares too. So that's like another. It's like getting another in today's dollars. It's like getting another 2,500 bucks every time extra every time you bring somebody onto the company. And of course, our plan with this is just to lock in as many shares as possible, and then wait for the day that this stock goes to 50 bucks a share or whatever it's going to go to. Kind of cool. So the Icon Agent program we talked about, this is for typically an agent in the like $10 million a year production range. Um, so 20 transactions after they cap, attend both live events. If they're a good cultural fit, they put an application in. There's a vetting process. It's pretty. If they've met the production, if they're a heavy duty, agent, and they generally fit the rest of this criteria. They're not trying to. They want to attract this type of agent. I'm personally an icon type agent. I imagine I will probably hit that. I have a heavy focus on recruiting this year, but I imagine I would hit that next year. Um, and there's quite a few of them in the company, but they basically ride for free. They get that $16,000 in brokerage fees back in the form of $16,000 in EXP stock. They get 4,000 of it when the target is hit, when they cap, and they get the other 12,000 of it back on their third anniversary with the company. So that's kind of cool. Their broker fees basically end up being zero. And they do that. You can see why they do that, because any agent like that has a lot of people watching them. They have a lot of people in tow. So we'll go ahead and open it up to questions here. I have an email from somebody before we got started. I'll go ahead and answer these questions real quick. If you guys have other questions, go ahead and type them in. Karen, good morning. Here are some of the questions I have concerning the leasing agent position. So again, we've kind of tailored this presentation for the recruiter position, the leasing agent position, and the residential realtor position. They're kind of all structured similarly. She's asking where are the leads coming from and are they qualified? So conversion is the tool to use to help you generate the leads. Very easy to generate another 10 leads a day on that. 300 plus leads a month on your own for free. We do some small paid Facebook stuff too, some very targeted geographically and demographically very targeted stuff for $5 or $10 a day. You can capture a much higher quality lead by spending a few dollars, but it's not necessary. So that's where the leads are coming from. I would say in that same question, the free groups type stuff, well, I would say neither of those leads are really highly qualified. You can probably get a more qualified lead the more targeted you get with your ads. So she was responding to a 70-30 split. Does the 70-30 commission split include the California $40 E&O? If not, does this have to be paid in addition to other monthly costs? Okay, so 70-30, we're trying to get everybody away from that. I have a few spots available for personal teammates within our company, agents on my team. Our team is entirely on 70-30 split. I basically just take that 10% and invest it into things for the team, leads, signs, open house signs, listing signs, lock boxes, professional photography. We're trying to get away from it. I mean, if somebody comes in that really needs that or has a track record, and we're not just going to be throwing money out the window, I'm open to sponsoring a few more agents on the team. Again, that's at a lower split, but just for the sake of simplicity, assume that you're at the higher split here. Assume that you're at an 80-20 split. You're plugged into company resources, company email, company seat on conversion. You know, if you are doing any lead spend, you're doing it out of your own pocket, out of the higher split, and so on and so forth. Um, her other question is the 420 university tuition also being deducted separately, or is it included in the commission split? So the 420, Karen is responding to a leasing agent ad. The 420 likely would not even apply to you. That 420 is out of a regular house closing, a listing or a sale. That doesn't ever come out of rentals. If all you did was rentals, you wouldn't have that expense. But we try to get our leasing agents. You know, we have 5 here on the team here in Phoenix, and 2 have really taken the leasing agent position and run with it. They do exactly as we had hoped and intended. They still do their leasing. You know, they still lease out, you know, 3 or 4 houses a week and make their 1,000 or 1,500 bucks a week in rentals close to home. And then it's a buyer pipeline. They ask them all if they have thought about buying a house. Rental leads are way easier to generate than buyer and seller leads. You get a lot more of them because most agents don't want anything to do with rentals. And so they ask them all. I have one agent right now one leasing agent that just from asking the question got a $275,000 pre-qual buyer out of a rental lead. And she's out looking for houses for him. She'll have something under contract this week. She'll make more on that. She'll probably do a $8,000 or $10,000 commission on that. She'll make more on that than she would renting 20 houses out probably. And so that's kind of our hope too, is that these leasing agents would do some open houses and they would talk to their friends and family about buying or selling a house, but they don't have to. Also, two of those 2 I was just talking about both have attracted a regular realtor to the company too. So they're about to have passive residual rev share off of agents that they've brought into the company, which is cool. So again, that 420 is out of the first closing of the year. That doesn't apply to rentals. It is separate from the split. It's above and beyond the split. Let's see if these questions could be answered. That would help me decide if this is the right fit. Okay, so that's it for Karen's questions that were emailed to me before. Let's open up here and see what we've got for more questions. Doing okay on time, 10:40. Are there any states that will be excluded that will always be blue? Allison, no, we're in 42 states right now. And we should be in all 50 hopefully by the end of the year. I can't promise that. We just had some agents come on in Utah, and it took a few more weeks than we thought to get Utah opened up. But they're going beyond the U.S. too. They've got some of Canada opened up already. What's cool is if you have any interest in opening up a state, like if you find a broker or you help them open a state, in theory, every agent that ever comes on to EXP is in your downline in that state. That's kind of cool. And that's what's cool about this too, is like, this is one of the big things that spoke to me about this opportunity is I'm licensed in Arizona and nowhere else. And I can hire to company or to team in any of these states that we're in, and I can be paid on production in any of those other states. So, you know, like I could bring on an agent in Florida or Texas and and make 2 or 3 or 4 grand a year off of them selling houses. So that's kind of cool. Even though I'm only licensed in Arizona, it's all legal. It's all legit. We're all agent owners of the company. We all have an interest in the company, and they treat it all, like broker to broker referral fees type of thing. We have a question here. We have a question about Vitus regarding, it's a question regarding annual operating expenses, and that is beyond the scope of this webinar. I will get you an answer though. Make sure, shoot us an email, respond to the GoToWebinar email with that same question, please, and I'll get you an answer. That's an answer I'll have to find out the answer to. This person is asking about annual operating income and so forth. Is there a fee for leads with the leasing agent program, Stacy? So no, there's no fee for leads, but you get this powerful conversion lead capture tool and system included in it that helps you go out and get the leads. I can show you. I can show you how to use it. There's tons of training available on it. Bill, when can I see you to get on board? Awesome, cool. I will have my team manager, Larry, give you a call or text as soon as we wrap up here, Bill. We'll get you started. Awesome. You're here in Chandler. Right on, man. Most agents, um, most agents don't like you advertising their listings. How do you overcome that? So, at any given time, EXP has a ton of listings that that we're allowed to advertise. But our broker here in Arizona, check with your MLS, check with your state laws, But our broker here in Arizona is, says this stuff is, they already have the feed is already IDX compliant. They've already given their permission for that listing to syndicate. The only thing you can't do is like extract the photos or whatever, but like just posting a link to it that auto populates and and typing whatever cross streets or whatever, you're totally in our state and in most states you're good to go. But beyond that, you would just ask for permission. We have some ads running in some other states for some of our agents, and we just ask permission. I get 50-50, half say yes, half say no. What do you have available in Baltimore? All three positions in Baltimore. Is your ad for leasing agent indicated? Let's see. I don't understand the question, Pam. No homes owned by a specific investor. We just have to pick up rental properties in our area. Yeah, so we're just advertising properties or searches. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 200 to 300,000, and it'll populate a link. It'll let you pick one of the pictures, and then when you click on it, it'll ask for their information, and then now you have their information. Stacy, very interested in Phoenix, leasing agent. I have years of experience. Great. What's the next step? Stacy, I'll have Larry or Megan reach out to you after the webinar. We'll get you started. Bill, Lisa, where does the rental inventory come from? Everything that I'm talking about here is just strictly off of the website, which is fed from the MLS. So it's up to the minute, what's available. Masharik, am I saying that right? Is there a broker I can talk to in Baltimore? Yes, I'll put you in touch. Please mention that we've spoken first, that you met on this webinar first, but I will get you a contact. I'll have Larry touch base with the broker first and put you in touch. Okay, we're going to wrap up here, guys. That's all that's typed in for questions. I'll give it another minute or two. Anybody, if you've got any more questions, go ahead and throw them in here. Mayar, is there a broker in Orlando, Florida? Yes, I will also put you in touch so you can speak. Allie, what did UPS deliver? That's a good question. I don't know. Can you please get me, Leah, can you please get me in contact with Indianapolis? Yes. Awesome. Please contact me for Riverside. Happy to, guys. I'll go ahead, guys, and send out the replay. I'll send out the slide deck, and the GoToWebinar will automatically send out it'll automatically send out a feedback or a follow-up email. If you have more questions, or if you have interest in getting started, or if I miss you here in getting started, please respond to that, and I will put you in touch with my team manager, Larry, and with your state compliance broker, and we'll help you take the next steps to get started. A couple more questions. Riverside, I'm in Tampa. Can I get contacted? Jacqueline, yes. I'll have somebody reach out to you today. Broker in Dallas. We have a state compliance broker for all of Texas, Juma. I'll help get you in touch. The process still starts through us. The state broker is strictly for compliance. It's strictly for reviewing paperwork and that sort of thing. Everything's online. If we're starting here today, then the sign-up process is still through us. Awesome. Thanks for being here, guys. Again, any questions, just respond to that follow-up GoToWebinar email, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks, guys.